So I put together a little reading vlog for the last bit of Royal Assassin that I've read. I bought this book 2 weeks ago at this lovely cafe bookstore, read a few chapters there. And then throughout the past few weeks, I've been reading the book quite quickly with the help of also audiobooks. This is me at a cafe, and yeah, just loving the chill vibe of just being able to go and have a coffee and read. It's been really fun. And then also on my drives, being able to turn on the audiobook and just listen has been, really helpful with trying to get through these books. And yeah, this vlog will sort of start as I embark on the final sort of 20% of the book. I am now probably 80% done. I have around 100 pages to go. Yeah, very close. I can probably finish this by tomorrow or in 2 days, to be honest, based on my reading speed. As part of my reading vlog, I've done a bit of b-roll. So I think my future reading vlogs, I'll be, definitely more during the process, just because I'm very early in this channel. So anyways, my thoughts so far. Wow. I loved the first book. It was such a beautiful character-driven or character-focused story. I love Robin Hobb's writing style, and just fell in love with the characters. After I finished Assassin's Apprentice, I was like, I need to read the next book. I am hooked on these characters and where the story is going. So when I picked up Royal Assassin, and from the get-go, I could tell, yes, this is a book where the stakes are higher, a lot more is happening, and the pace of the book, I'd say, in my personal opinion, is great. I never feel like there was a lull or any real moment where I felt it was dragging. I do feel that every chapter, every focus in the story is relevance, and we're spending so much time with these characters and Fitz's mind state that it's been such a blast. And I for me anyway, it feels like I have been cruising through this book, and it is the fastest that I've gone through a book. 2 weeks to read 533 pages. That is the fastest I've ever read, to be honest with you. So yes, I am loving this book. I cannot wait to see how this ends. I will say where I finished, the chapter that I've just finished, it's going down. It is ramping up. It is going to be, and I can already tell, it's setting it up to be an emotional ending. And I don't know if I'm ready for it. So we'll see how it goes. But the rest of this vlog, I think it's better than the first book. I think it's picked it up so much more, and I can't recommend it enough so far, unless the final 20% is just absolute trash, which I doubt it is.
To deaden his mind along with his pain, but as he brought it near, Regal dashed it from his hands. My leader has a mate, and she is with child, than he cares to admit to anyone.
Well, I just learned that I'm out of audiobook hours on Spotify. Did not know that was a thing. I thought all audiobooks on Spotify were included in premium, but apparently not. So, just no reading for lunch.
And Fedric. With few children to teach, perhaps the impatients could finally study out their papermaking. Arms! To the bastard! They are killing fish chivalry! A struggle began, but I could not see who was involved, nor give it any attention at all.
Alright, so on my drive to work today, I was listening to Royal Assassin. I forgot what the chapter was called, Escapes and Captures, so that was already quite foreboding, but wow. It was absolutely crazy. I just kind of like, hand on my head, like wow, like wild, and then just goosebumps when the coastal jachis sort of yelled out, to arms, defend Fitz chivalry. Like, oh my goodness, what a moment. So yeah, He's in the dungeons now. I don't know where this is gonna go. I don't know how this is gonna end. But I'm, yeah, most definitely gonna finish the book today. I'm really, really excited. Yeah, I'm gonna listen to another chapter on my drive home. Whew. I don't know if I'm ready. I don't know if I'm ready.
The guard's voice was fading. He had actually been fool enough to leave Lady Patience on his post and go looking for his comrade. In a moment, they heard the light patter of
Damn, man. This whole time, I love that reveal just because of Fitz's reflection. Yet I should have known I was no older when Shade had first begun to teach me my trade. And it kind of just puts into perspective, like, holy crap, like Fitz was so young when he first started learning to be an assassin. I love that reflection there, and I love that twist. That is crazy. Oh my goodness. All right, how much more do I have left to go? I have like 50 pages, so almost done. Let's do this. Almost there. Let's do it. Done.
Yay! How was it?
Nice. Yeah, really good.
You want the next one now?
A lot to process, a lot to think about. All right, so I finished The Royal Assassin last night, and I kind of took my time just sort of processing it and processing my feelings, because I did try and do sort of a raw thoughts and feelings right after finishing, but I just couldn't really articulate my thoughts because I think there was a lot to process. But now that the whole day has passed and sort of thinking about the book, I can say 100% this is, wow, what an amazing book, an amazing story. Just to preface, I'm not a book reviewer. I don't think I have the qualifications to be a really good book reviewer. I am just purely sharing my thoughts and honest opinions and how I feel when I read these books. I think that's the best I can do. It's just purely based on what I like. And honestly, like all the books that I've read, like I've really enjoyed it, because I think, as someone who is only getting into reading or reading more and immersing myself in different kinds of books and fantasy books, each one has really surprised me in different ways, and each one I've thoroughly enjoyed getting through and reading and being with these characters and immersing myself in the storylines. So yeah, that's how I feel. If I do feel super strong about something, whether it's positive or negative, I'll share that. But again, I'm not a book reviewer. I am not a critic. I am just someone who is reading more, trying to read books, who loves reading books, and just sharing my honest opinion. This is such a beautiful book, and it's so beautifully written. That ending was so freaking intense. Just so much happened. I feel like, probably from the last sort of 20% of the book, just sort of hooked on everything that was going on, and the stakes really intensified. And yeah, that ending I did not see coming as well. I did not know where it was going. And even now, after the ending, I don't know what the third book will be about. But wow, I thoroughly enjoyed reading this book all the way through. It's probably the fastest I've ever finished a book, especially of this size. It took me around 2 weeks to get through it. And that was sort of, reading this physical book, but then also through audiobook. So yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I can't wait to read the third book. I think what I loved most of all, just throughout the whole time I was reading it, just how immersed I felt in the world with these characters. You know, I could sort of close my eyes as I'm reading, just vividly imagine myself walking through the castle of Buckkeep or through Buckkeep town, or when he's traveling through the six duchies, going to these different cities or towns. And yeah, it was just such a vivid experience. And more so than that, the characters are so wonderful because of how flawed they are. I love how each character feels so real, and they, you know, make mistakes and they make bad decisions, or they don't fully understand or grasp the full picture, so that causes them to, you know, overlook things or not do things. And that sort of, you know, sometimes it's frustrating, but it was not frustrating in the sense that these characters are dumb. I think it was just more frustrating that, yes, this feels like it would happen in real life. Someone, you know, a real person, especially understanding their history and their background, like this is how they would respond and react in this situation. And I felt there was, you know, so many times in this book where I felt that way. You know, the back and forth between the relationships, you know, with Fitz and Molly, Fitz and Patience and Barak, Fitz and Verity and Ketrican, like all of that all felt so unique and just so real. And that's what I love, and why I feel this book as well, I enjoyed it more than the first one. Even though I did really love the first book, I felt that this one was a lot more enjoyable because I was able to spend more time with these characters that I did grow to love and learn about in the first book. And then now spending, you know, these moments with them, these slow moments, these very intentional scenes and interactions between the characters. Wow, I really felt like I lived in this world, in Robin Hobb's world, the whole time I was reading this book. I can't praise it enough. I think the pacing as well really was so much more fast paced, especially towards the end. But then I love that balance between, you know, that really intense moments, but then also the slow moments between the characters with Fitz's inner reflections. And yeah, I think it was a really well balanced book in that sense. In terms of the writing, like, wow, there's so many times when I would read something like a sentence or something that Robin Hobb put together, and I'm like, wow, that was just so, you know, beautifully and eloquently expressed. I was very impressed a lot of times when reading this book. What can I say? I can't wait to read the third one, Assassin's Quest. And yeah, just finish this trilogy, see where these characters are taken to next. I really loved this book. And yeah, again, apologies if this sort of reading vlog was kind of messy and all over the place and not really coherent, just because I did sort of start this reading vlog when I was already past halfway through reading the book. So yeah, I will definitely do a more organized vlog for Assassin's Quest and all the other books that I plan to pick up. But yeah, loved it. That's it from me. Can't wait to read the Assassin's Quest. I'll probably go to the bookstore this weekend to buy that. Thank you so much for watching if you made it this far. And thank you for everyone who's been sort of engaging and commenting on my videos recently, especially giving your amazing recommendations, which, you know, there's a lot of different books and series that I've never heard of before that I've looked up because of what you've recommended, and they look very interesting and definitely on my mind when I go shopping for books in the future. But yeah, I really appreciate you stopping by and watching. I hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.